environment. Sorry. Would be like during cabin chats, we talked about giving kids the chance to share some of their culture. So, for example, if somebody has like this very unique music taste and they just kind of feel like they've been shut out, maybe encourage them by asking questions about this culture or asking them kind of to share some about what they love and really giving them a chance to be expressive and feel like their voice is heard.
That's fantastic, yeah. You know, you want to affirm them, you want to praise them for their differences, and then you want to give them, give them the chance to express those differences. If, you want to praise all the kids for whatever, for whatever they're expressing, and if they're not feeling comfortable expressing yet, you want to help them get there. So if that means, like asking them questions about their culture that they can answer, or if that means asking them questions about, like how they think about certain things, or about how, like these life experiences have affected them. Like you want to ask them these leading questions that lead to them, feeling more comfortable sharing, and if they didn't want to share right out flatly, like you help them get there. What's up, Ralphie? Oh, Puddles, I'm sorry.
Oh.
And then Ralphie.
I was also gonna, we talked a lot about cabin chat and how it was like pretty much the same thing, and how it's like really important to like explicitly say it like at the start, like maybe while you're doing your rules that first minute cabin chat, just like be like, this is an open space where like you can say, like you can express your feelings, even like by doing it as a counselor, like giving an example, sort of not being like, I'm gonna express my feelings now, but like naturally like express something that like maybe people wouldn't think to talk about in cabin chat, like your music taste or something like that on the first night. I just feel like that's a good example of like saying your feeling and people like not giving you a hard time for it.
Exactly. It all goes back to role modeling. If you want them to talk about their culture from home, if you want them to talk about, like what they like, talk about what you like from home. Talk about what you like, talk about what your culture is like at home. And yeah, Puddles, you want to give him a little shove? He's just waking up. You had your eyes closed on Puddles' shoulder. I can't think you're not sleeping. All right, so then stop closing your eyes and resting on Puddles' shoulder.
Hey, if I could rest on Puddles' shoulder.
I mean, we all could if we would, but there's a time and a place.
I was not on his shoulder. There's a full of space here.
Either way, like we said, the best thing is role modeling. So if you're going to role model for them by sharing, who you are, they're going to feel comfortable role modeling by sharing who they are. Anyone else have anything they want to share?
Sure. It's been kind of covered, but like I think an important point is like being curious and interested in the campers, because as you do that, they're going to feel important and like they're going to feel way more encouraged to be who they are. So I think that's a very important point. Just be interested in your campers.
Exactly, and it goes back to like Jingle and some other people had said before. Like it's important to include campers of all like personalities, all like social levels. And so if a camper is uncomfortable, just like blurting out and sharing, like what they feel and who they are, then, like it's your job as a counselor to help them get to that point where they feel that comfort. Help them get to the point by asking them questions, being curious, showing enthusiasm for what they like. And if you're gonna do that, they're gonna feel comfortable sharing who they are. And if they share who they are, then we did a pretty good job. Wow, we covered so much there. So some other concrete ways they have listed here. Discuss the idea of respect. Do, say, believe. Sometimes campers are more in tune with what being disrespectful looks like than what being respectful looks like. So what we would want to do there is instead of just thinking about this like, oh, if someone like tells a mean or hurtful joke, like tell them not to do that. Instead, you want to think of like when someone like appreciates another person's culture, or when someone like asks a question about another person's culture, like praise them, like they did a very good job. You should tell them that they did a very good job with what, like with being interested, with making new friends, and by making this person feel accepted, making this person feel included. They've done a great job, they've done half your job, and so you should really thank them for that. Tell them that they did a good job. Exactly, and then in addition to that, when you tell kids like, this goes on to the next one, like, first of all, one of their ideas for concrete ways to set up a camp environment to celebrate diversity and differences is banning hate-based language, which I felt like was kind of a given, but ban hate-based language, guys. It's a good one. But like it's easy for us to say, oh, we don't want to say these words. And, you know, like, it's good that the kids don't say those words. But instead of saying, like, oh, we don't say these words, tell the kids, like, oh, you know, like, this person is different. Like, we don't say these words to describe them, but, like, these are the words this person would like to be described by. And, you know, like, use it as an opportunity to, like, learn about the person. Present, like, you know, present a positive way of looking at things and a positive, actionable way where these kids can look at it, see what they can do positively to meet and accept and affirm other people, and they can take that action instead of just, you know, not saying the N-word. And then be openly committed to creating a safe space, and yeah, we did a really good job on that one. What's up?
I think something our group talked about that is really important to just keep in mind is the importance of like us as counselors throughout the whole week, like always making sure we're on our game and looking out for this, because I think something Elvis brought up is it's very easy by the end of the week to just be exhausted and tired and like kind of like let your mind slip a little bit and like relax, but and not be super conscious of like the conversations happening around you. And I think like, especially when it comes to like those more subtle forms of exclusion, that it's like really important to always be aware of the fact that you like don't know what all of your campers are bringing to the table. And I think like an example we talked about is like say like a bunch of counselors or a bunch of campers in your group are all like talking about the latest, like they all got the newest iPhone and they're all like they don't have it at camp, but they're all like talking about how cool it is, but like there's one kid who like has a flip phone because he can't afford an iPhone. You don't know that, but like he could, but like that's like an opportunity, like just a way that you as a counselor have to be like sort of be on the lookout for things like that to be able to steer the conversation in a way that's always going to be inclusive.
Exactly. It's something that you have to look out for where if you're seeing that during the whole week, all the kids are having discussions about, you know, like a couple topics that they all really, really enjoy, but there's always one or two who are excluded because it seems like they don't know as much about those things as the other kids. Like, you as a counselor, like, take action, like, try to change the conversation, like, ask the kids leading questions about other things that you know, like, the previously excluded kids can get involved in, like, discussions that they want to have, conversations that they want to have. And like you said, it's easy for us to go on, like, the first 2 weeks and, like, look out for a kid who makes a mean joke on the first 2 days, but then you have to keep an eye out after that for kids, you know, like, things that might take a little longer to see, like, if it takes until the 3rd or 4th day of camp to see that some kids always on the fringes, some kids always getting excluded, like, you have to notice that and then take action. Does anyone else have any ideas for creating that affirming atmosphere? Then let's move on to strategies for dealing with a situation. So a situation is, you know, specifically here situations are regarding isms. So if there is some sort of incident where, you know, you realize that one camper is using hurtful language, one camper is sort of, you know, like treating another one poorly for one of these, you know, reasons that are isms, you know, it's something that you're going to have to deal with as a counselor. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few minutes to brainstorm 3 things. 1, how to keep this camper's behavior in perspective. This camper is behaving a certain way, this camper is behaving a certain way because probably one of the reasons that we wrote up there before. So you have to keep that in mind when dealing with these situations. How are you going to account for that? Question 2, what other things do you want to have in mind when you're dealing with this behavior? You know, you want to remember that they're children. You want to remember that they aren't as developed as we are. They don't have the same social skills. You know, like other things that are important to remember when you're dealing with campers saying these things. And then third of all are the objectives that you want to get out of it. You don't just want to chew them out. You want to see real behavior change. So what are you going to say? What are you going to do with these kids that, you know, like put them on the right path to changing their behavior to be healthier? So does everyone know our 3 questions? There were like 2 nods. Small group discussion. Let's do it. You'll have 3 minutes.
I mean, the discussion is like,
Doing great. Keep it up.